The Pima County Sheriff suggested that vitriol, that was a quote, in politics and the media, says it's inflaming the American public to do dangerous things, to dangerous levels. And that's not going to win him many fans on talk radio. Neil Boortz is a libertarian and host of his own syndicated radio show. He joins me now via Skype. Neil, thank you so much for coming on. I know that you're always, open and honest, and you've been a good sport about coming on and doing that. I want to throw up a tweet that you made just a few hours ago, which says, Pima County Sheriff Clarence Dupnick has shown himself to be a leftist, partisan hack in his public comments. So why so critical of the public face of this investigation? Are you not doing exactly what he pointed out there at the press conference?
Gee, first of all, I'm really tickled y'all follow me on Twitter. I guess I'll have to follow you back.
At Don Lemon CNN, you can follow me. I do follow you. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, he's out there immediately blaming this on talk radio. Now, this goes back to when you were about, I don't know, how old were you in 1962 or 3?
Minus a couple of years. I wasn't born. Yeah.
You know, now I'm embarrassed because I've got the date. I've got the date wrong. But 63, when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, I was in Texas at the time, and the immediate reaction in the media and with the people was, a right-winger did it. It's those right-wingers. It's those conservatives. And it turns out to be a communist sympathizer. Now,
yeah, but Neil, I didn't hear him in that, and maybe there was an insinuation there. I didn't hear him mention a party. He just said the political process. He did say people who wanted to tear down their government, which may have been a backhanded slap to the Tea Party.
I understand that, but I'm just saying this, assigning blame, and I accuse the sheriff of assigning blame for a political purpose, just as they did in 1963. Mm-hmm. Now, Rahm Emanuel famously said that you never let a good crisis go to waste. Now we're learning you don't let a good tragedy go to waste. Mm-hmm. And there are people out there. In fact, there was a report on Politico. It was buried in the story, but that a Democrat operative told Politico that the word went out very soon or very quickly. We have to deftly pin this on the Tea Partiers.
Okay, so listen, they're not, I don't know if that's accurate. That's not CNN's reporting, so I'll have to take you at your word for it. But I want to move on now because I want you to hear what the sheriff said today in the press conference, and then we'll talk about it.
When the rhetoric about hatred, about mistrust of government, about paranoia of how government operates, and to try to inflame the public on a daily basis, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, has impact on people, especially who are unbalanced personalities to begin with.
Obviously, he's upset. Who wouldn't be in this situation and a bit emotional? Is there some truth to what he's saying, though, Neil?
Well, first of all, I don't blame him being upset. My condolences to the people of Tucson. My wife and I spend several weeks out of every year in Tucson. We absolutely love the area. But you talk about rhetoric. I mean, is give me liberty or give me death? That's some pretty strong rhetoric also, and it goes right back to the formation of our country. And then Sheriff Dupnick gets into this hate speech. This is a wonderful way that some people have of terminating an argument when they have no ability to engage in it in the first place.
Okay.
You present an idea to somebody, they can't respond to it, and then they start screaming, that's hate speech. That's hate speech. And as far as, I forget his exact words, Don, but it was distrust of government. I think a healthy distrust of government is in fact healthy.
I think he said people who are trying to tear down the government. Let's talk about the national mood, though, Neil, right now. Sure. I want to play this soundbite from Meet the Press this morning, and I want to get your reaction.
Okay.
We are in a dark place in this country right now, and the atmospheric condition is toxic. And much of it originates here in Washington, D.C., and we export it around the country.
You know, he seems to be saying the same thing. Now, listen, that Washington is broken and extends from there. It sounds like something the Tea Party might agree with. What's your reaction?
Who was that?
What's your reaction? That was Congressman Cleaver.
Okay. Do you remember who uttered these words? Republican victory would mean hand-to-hand combat. They bring a knife, we bring a gun. Hit back twice as hard. Punish your enemies. I'm itching for a fight. I don't want to quell anger. I think people are right to be angry. I'm angry. Don, do you know who said all of those things?
No, I don't.
The president of our country, Barack Obama. Those are all his words. So, yes, there is angry rhetoric. And when we have
what's your point with that? I don't understand. There's context and everything. What's your point with that?
Well, my point is that there seems to be some people that want to really lay the blame for violent rhetoric on the right. Those are the ones with the hate speech. Now, if you find somebody on the right, a Republican congressman or a senator or a Republican leader, well, if they bring a knife, we're going to bring a gun. I'm itching for a fight. Let's get in their face. Let's hit them back twice as hard. That, I would submit to you, Don, that the media is going to react quite a bit differently to that rhetoric coming from somebody on the right than they did to that rhetoric coming from the President of the United States.
So do you feel at all that we need to, and this is going to be my last question, that we need to restore civility and to tone down the rhetoric? Because even though it may just be a job and political sport for many, but to some people who listen to it, Neil, they take it very literally, and they take those words to mean exactly what the meaning of those words rather than the context behind it and reading between the lines.
Well, I can't speak for others, Don, but I can tell you what I do on my show. And I've been at this for 40 years, which I suspect takes you back to minus again. And that is, I tell people, you know, we have every right to be angry at what's happening to the government of our country. We have every right to voice that anger. We have every right to be partisan in one direction or another. But when anybody ever calls my show, when they call my show and they suggest violence, I tell them the ballot box works. And we saw that in November. The ballot box does work.
And Neil,
that is the place to take out your anger.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. It's going to have to be the last word. I appreciate you coming on, and thanks again for being so open.